Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah! Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Yes, who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Welcome to our next show, Shapeshifters. And we've got a very interesting topic today, and we have two guests with us. We have Mr. Gregory Mofokeng from the Black Business Council for the Built Environment. And we have Mr. Webster Mfebe from SACPCMP. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
This construction mafia has been in the media for some time now. When I think of mafia, there are parallels of turf wars, there's weaponry, there's families, there's like Godfathers, Gambino family. Is it like that, or is it an exaggeration, calling them mafia?
Well, I think it is, if you explain it like that, it's definitely an exaggeration. But the fact of the matter is that we are under siege as a construction industry. The fact of the matter is that we have local forums that are organizing themselves, some with a view of meaningfully participating in projects and in a legal way, and some with a view of disrupting projects and deploying, illegal means to do so. And so that we cannot deny that it is a reality out there.
Okay. And you've taken steps. You've sent a letter to the Minister of Police, I believe.
Yes.
Because these people come on site with automatic weapons, and most of them illegal automatic weapons.
Yes.
Have you had a response from the Minister?
We've had a response from the Minister, but I think it's appropriate to actually just explain where this whole thing started.
Yes.
This is not a new phenomenon, by the way. We picked this thing up 4 years ago. Okay. And then we made the CIDB aware, the Construction Industry Development Board, as the regulator, that this is what our members are experiencing on the ground. We requested that they intervene. There was no intervention. We escalated the matter to the Department of Public Works. We further escalated the matter to National Treasury and to the Presidency. And we do not have a response. So this is a 4-year journey. But what we've seen now with the local forums is that we've seen an escalation. And this is what has resulted in us writing a letter to the Minister of Police, because now we view this as a law enforcement issue, because now some of these groupings are, as I said earlier, employing illegal means to disrupt construction sites across the country.
Okay, all right. And any idea why the police? Well, there's a criticism that police have been a little slow. These are illegal weapons. There's intimidation. There's violence. Why do you think they are not responding?
I cannot speak on behalf of the police, and that's why we've requested a meeting with the police management to understand what the plan is. Because our members who are confronted with this problem even take steps of going to the courts, getting court interdicts to try and stop the local forums from stopping the sites. But what we are seeing over and over again is that the police do come out, but they do nothing, to diffuse the situation on the ground. And day in, day out is the same situation where the local forums come, they disrupt, our members can't work. And as a result, you find that there is no movement on the ground. So projects are not being implemented because the local forums are adamant that if they are not involved, projects cannot continue. And the police simply are just there to keep the peace, but not to address the core issue, which is the illegality of stopping sites.
Yes. Webster, you estimated that there's a 25.5 billion loss as a result of this activity. And you said also in 2016 there was a contractor that was killed on site because they were not allowed to do what they wanted to do. You've addressed a letter to the Minister of Finance. Can you tell us a little bit about your stance and your action?
Yes, but first I would like to put this into context.
Yes.
KZN is the epicenter from which the business forums have proliferated into a multiplicity of other business forums across provincial boundaries, thereby assuming a national footprint and sphere of influence.
Okay.
Now, from where this all started, the genesis of it being the KZN, the BBCBE have done, on the other hand, we as an organization also engaged the provincial government, the head of the Department of Safety in KZN, Mr. Themba Mavundla. That culminated in a meeting whereby all stakeholders were invited who had interest in the matter, and also the multidisciplinary divisions within the police, including intelligence services, also attended. That was in 2016. At that meeting, I invited a family member of the slain contractor, black contractor, who was accosted by these mafias, demanding a stake in his contract. He refused, he was killed. There is a case, active case, at the police station with a case number, and the family member is also willing to be interviewed. The reason we escalated, similar to what the BBCB have experienced, is that there seems to be no effective intervention at the level at which the problems arose, because the first thing you need to do to resolve a problem, you must solve it at the level at which it arises, which was the case at end.
Yes.
After a number of meetings, that did not produce any results. Now, following the escalation of hostilities on sites on the 13th of March in Saldanha, where they burned down the plant, the buildings of WHO in a 2.4 billion rand, I felt the need to consult and escalate the matter to the Minister of Finance, and the very next day, and also escalated the matter to the President. The Minister did confirm that the matter is receiving attention, and of course we will await the government's response. But one should not underestimate the impact this has on the economy, on the jobs, on the livelihoods of people. When you see the gruesome pictures as resembling a war zone, those are people's jobs, shelter, food going into flames. That is South African economy going into flames.
That can't be allowed. And I believe there's also people who had to run for their lives, like there was a case of a female engineer that
Yes, they were female engineers, and in fact, everybody's life, female or not female, but because the construction industry is a masculine industry, male-dominated. Now, when you have females entering that space,
yes,
and they are confronted with this situation, it is very sad. And what is very strange, and I've said, I was just speaking to the Sunday Times now, that one has to answer the question that in the DA-led province, for an example, where we are on the eve of election, where all the political parties promise a better life,
yes,
jobs, something of that magnitude happens. Not a single one has raised a voice. Police come on the scene quickly. They said, we cannot do anything. It has to be police from PAL, which took 3 hours whilst watching. That cannot be accepted in an open democratic society where the constitutional responsibility of the state is to maintain law and order, to give credence to the existence
yes,
of the rule of law in this country, which would encourage both domestic and international investors to invest in our economy.
Exactly, because this is life-threatening. Why should there be this throwing of the ball each time? They should be proactive and deal with the issues.
Well, I would be unforgiving, as I have been in other interviews in my analysis of the situation. Firstly, you spoke about mafias. Let's separate genuine entrepreneurs who want to become part of the construction activities. Let's not brush everyone with the same brush and say people are mafias. But within the various organization business forums, they indeed resemble the mafia, the characteristics of which is the execution of a ruthless behavioral code.
Yes.
Even amongst them, in the Eastern Cape, for example, they've killed each other in the Eastern Cape. We are told that about 9 members of the business firm have been gunned down. Now, if you look at the issue of the Cosa Nostras in Europe, the mafias control one of the industries that they control apart from energy and other sector is the construction sector. Now, in KZN, we are told, of course, allegedly, that some of the business forums are linked to powerful political figures, provincially, locally, and even nationally. And some of them even participate in election campaigns of certain individuals, and which could explain why there's some kind of lethargy and an arm's length approach in dealing with the matter. When I personally speak to some of the politicians, they would say, no, we know about this, but it's a sensitive matter, but I don't want to comment about it. So the state must intervene. There must be a multidisciplinary intervention at the highest level, intelligence-led, and nab those behind this phenomenon. The construction industry is bleeding as we speak. Gregory would tell you the cake in the construction sector is shrinking and shrinking, and we're fighting over an ever-shrinking cake, which then precipitates the emergence of gangs.
Yes.
It's survival of the fittest at the moment.
Okay, we are going to an ad break. We'll be back just now.
Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah! Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.beastdownmedia.co.za.
Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
We are back talking about construction mafia. I'm going to ask you, Gregory. This all started in KZN. Any idea why KZN?
I wouldn't want to venture an opinion
Okay.
on why KZN, but that's where it started. That's where it manifested. And as I said earlier, when we got wind of the information about the activities of the local forums, we immediately raised the matter with the CIDB to seek for an intervention because we were concerned even then that it will obviously get out of control. And we've seen that over the years, that the local forums have become emboldened, and that's why they now even have the gall to go into construction sites, put guns on the table and demand money. Some of them don't even demand work packages for them to meaningfully participate and gain the skills, gain the know-how, gain the knowledge, and grow in the industry. Some of them are just simply demanding money.
Yes.
Yeah.
The president of the country refers to this behavior as, well, one of the groups involved is Forum for Radical Economic Transformation. But he refers to them as radical economic robbery. Would you agree with him?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I will agree with him. I mean, if you've got people that don't want to work, but just want to, to earn money for doing no work, obviously there's something wrong with that. So I will agree with the president as far as the characterization of this group is concerned. What is interesting is that of late, the organization itself is claiming that it is in fact going around the country organizing local forums so that they can be better prepared to participate in the opportunities. It will be interesting to see what their modus operandi is. We have not encountered them outside of KZN in their current form, as they are constituted in KwaZulu-Natal. What we are seeing that in other provinces, people are basically just mimicking what is happening in KZN. And what we are seeing is that because of lack of law enforcement, this is spreading like wildfire countrywide, and we've got to stop it, because if we don't stop it, the situation will only get worse. And as Webster has pointed out earlier, the fact of the matter is that as the industry, we are losing money daily due to these activities.
And This bridge was under construction in the Eastern Cape. Is it called the Mtentu Bridge? Okay, where they say it's one of the highest bridges in Africa. And it's said that this work has now stopped on this bridge because of this activity. What do you think is causing this? What's the reasoning behind these disruptions and this violence and intimidation?
Well, I think we can only, talk based on what we are hearing from the media, because, as an organization, we have not been very close to the project. But what we are picking up from the media is that, there is this, local forums that are making it difficult for the contractors to perform on the project, and as a result, they have decided to terminate the contract. What we have also seen are statements coming from the premier in the province following the court case, because there was a court case. Sandral has got some reprieve as far as that is concerned. And Sandral has requested the contractor to get back on site. And it is interesting to note that the premier has acknowledged that the politicians have actually failed the project. They failed the community by not ensuring that the environment is conducive for the project to be undertaken. You will wish that these things are done upfront, so that by the time the project starts, you don't have these disruptions. Once again, it's an acknowledgement by the politicians that they failed to do what they're supposed to do, to make sure that the environment is conducive for contractors to come in and do their work. When contractors are appointed, they're appointed to do construction, not to do social facilitation. That's not our work. Our work is to construct. So the social facilitation is left to the client and to the politicians. And this is a clear acknowledgement that the politicians and the client bodies are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And as a result, we are feeling the heat as the construction industry.
And it's impacting the economy.
Of course it is.
To a great degree. And Webster, there's this 30% rule. Can you just elaborate on this? Because that seems to be a bone of contention as well, this 30% rule, that they feel that they're entitled to that 30% and they should be there.
Well, again, before going that, because you asked questions that are very close to my heart, because I've been very close to the situation to give some answers to certain situations. And I've said earlier on that we need to separate genuine concerns from gangs. I need to share the information that on the 5th of December, I met with the FRET leadership, the president, and told them in no uncertain terms that it is not to be tolerated that they embark on unorthodox methods of violence. If they want sympathy to be taken on board by our members, not as an exclusive arrangement, as part of the stakeholders, they need to desist and denounce violence. And indeed, following that, the disruptions on sites went down. In fact, immediately after that, there was a disruption in Hammersdale in the project involving Stefanuti stocks. We confronted them. They were not involved. They stopped the situation. And now they have since regularized themselves. Yesterday, I met with the top structure of FRET again in Mount Eltcombe. They have offices there. And again, I said, unless and until you commit yourselves to peaceful means. I told them at the time, when they were not organized, there's BPCBE, there's SAFSEC, there's MBSA, there's NAFB. They can go and affiliate with those, but they have a right to form their own structure, as we know, the freedom of association in terms of their constitution. So they have committed themselves. And in fact, they distanced themselves from the Saldanha Bay issue. But the police need to investigate and get to the bottom of it. Then the 30%. The 30%, people think that it is a matter that has to be regulated further. The PPPF is very clear that 30% must go to local enterprises in projects that are done in the locality. Without being technical about it, the discretion is in the hands of the contractor to do a proper investigation in the locality to involve deserving, competent enterprises. Not business forum enterprises. Gregory has got members. We have members, so are other associations, all stakeholders. What they agreed to yesterday, which I wanted them to agree to, is that don't think that you are an exclusive club where the 30% should go to. You should be part of the stakeholders.
Yes.
But it is up to Gregory Construction, if he has got a company, to then appoint a competent local black contractor that fits the requirements of his contract. But the problem with the business forum, if you take other black people and their members are not involved, the problem continues. That cannot be tolerated.
Yes.
Let me just chip in there as well. Because again, there's confusion on the 30%. Now, if you read the triple PFA, it doesn't say local. It says black, women, youth, township, rural enterprises, military veterans. So it does not say local. All right.
Yes.
And I think, we've started the process with the CIDB about 2 years ago, where we said, can we just provide clarity? Can we have the regulator providing clarity in terms of how do we treat the 30% and localization? All right. Because the local forums are correct by saying they need to participate. And there needs to be a policy provision for them to do so. And I think we still need clarity as far as that is concerned to say, how do you do this? Because some of them say, no, we don't want the 30% because the 30% talks about black companies. We want localization. So our localization is also 30%. Now, if you look at it, it creates some sort of confusion in the market. So we need clarity as far as that is concerned. We have communicated this to the CIDB and said the CIDB must come out clearly to say, how do the clients treat these two aspects of policies that actually enable black companies, emerging companies, and local companies to participate in projects. So that's clear. And I think that policy, lack of clarity as far as policy is concerned, has has contributed in the current situation that we are having at the moment. So it's very, very critical. Sure. Now, Webster raised a very important point where you find that, and this is what we have also witnessed on some of the sites where our members are involved, that you negotiate with one community forum. Those leaders that are found not to have the capacity to participate, tomorrow they form another one.
Sure. And
they come again and say, no, the ones that you have given work packages to don't represent us. So we are here to demand our own packages as well. Because these are some of the actual challenges that are out there that we need to resolve. Because if we don't resolve them, then we're going to continue being confronted with this challenge that we don't have a response to address.
Yes.
If I may chip in there, the CIDB has issued a practice note on the 30%. It describes a local as one municipality, as one or more municipality, one district or more, one province or more. But the point, Gregor, I keep on making is that I don't think it is a problem of further elucidation. It is at the discretion of the contractor not to overlook players, stakeholders in that locality. No matter how much you change the regulations, it is at our discretion to make sure that we do proper research, we involve people. When people feel that they have been part of an open and transparent process, they've been given a chance, they did not qualify. But again, I would emphasize, the mafia-style organizations would not accept, even if you take other black people, for as long as they are not involved. He mentioned that truly our contract have experience where they've given them work. Some of them don't even come on site. They come on payday when they have and demand their money. And some do shoddy work. Some do good work, I must say.
Gentlemen, I must say it's been very interesting listening to all of this. And I'm sure with people like you, we're going to stop this practice. And I see you wearing the same kind of pocket handkerchiefs as well. So that says a lot. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, who got brands talking. Brandlive.co.za